All right, guys, thank you for joining me this morning, now, right this minute. This live stream is probably going to be about 15-20 minutes because I got to head off to work. So, appreciate you guys being here when you don't have to. Ozark, thank you for the 5x5. Going to be about 15-20 minutes. All right, Dog Walker, Steel City, thank you for the 5x5. Dan Phillips, thank you for the 5x5, even though nobody was on. Appreciate it. Oh, boy. I was decent sleep, but I could definitely use more. Don, thank you for the 5x5. Johnny, what's going on? Schwackhammer, what's going on? Sarah, what's up? All right. So let's get it on. So just a quick heads up. There's a strawberry moon. Supposedly the moon's going to have a pinkish hue to it, June 9th and 10th. And it's supposedly going to hang out low in the sky for most of the night. I think at the beginning part of the horizon, when the moon breaks the horizon, that's when you're going to get that pinkish hue. So if anybody is into that kind of shit, June 9th and 10th. I think I even heard the peak might be the 11th, but start looking at the skies by the 9th and 10th. So, interesting news the other day. This is yesterday actually, and I just caught this last minute. Base Bunny, what's going on? Thank you for the 5x5. I just so happened to catch this just before I came on. I saw something about it yesterday, but I didn't pay too much mind to it. But shocking satellite images show rows of Russian nuclear-capable bombers destroyed after Ukraine drone attack. Now, this satellite image looks to be such, but who knows these days? Who knows who's lying, who's telling the truth? But whatever, I'm just going to read the story. So new satellite images showed an extent of destruction against one fleet of Russian bombers during Ukraine Operation Spiderweb attack. So the operation name was Spiderweb. Not sure why. All right, anyway. On Kremlin's airbase over the weekend, the image shared by open source analysis showed nothing but dust and debris where more than a dozen Russian nuclear-capable bombers once stood on a runway at the Belaya Airway. One of at least 4 military bases struck by 117 Ukrainian drones Sunday. John Ford, research associate at the California-based James Martin Center for Non-Proliferation Studies, said the image supplied by Capel Space, a satellite company, confirmed Ukraine's achievement in destroying the fleet based in the Irkutsk region. I hate these Russian names and everything they stand for. These images look to be good, but again, I couldn't tell you. The SAR image shows the remnants of at least 2 Tu-22 backfires, the same type of supersonic aircraft that has been used to bomb Ukraine. At least 4 strategic heavy Tu-95 bombers were identified among the aircraft destroyed at the Belaya airfield. It is clear the attack on the airbase was successful. Brady Affleck, open source intelligence analysis, told Reuters. The aircraft targeted in the attack were mixed of Tu-22s and Tu-95 bombers, both which Russia has used to launch strikes against Ukraine. Interesting, because there's an image of it seems like the camera on a drone ready to strike the military plane. That's very interesting. That is actually cool. Let's see if I can pull it up. All right. Affleck noted that the Belaya airfield is littered with flat decoyed aircraft, none of which appeared to fool the Ukrainian drones deployed at the military base. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. Okay. Similar satellites images were released on the attack of the Ivano Air Base, located 100 miles northeast of Moscow. In total, Operation Spiderweb hit 41 warplanes in at least 4 different air bases. Okay, very good. Again, that's if it's even real. I just the way the media is these days, I swear they're lying to us about everything. Let's see if I can pull up that image real quick. So that is the drone camera ready to hit one of the Russian bombers. Now, I don't know which plane this is. I'm not a planologist. I can't tell you what it is. But that's an interesting view. And it looks like a drone struck it right before this drone struck it, which is a pretty cool image. I like that. I like that that image. It looks like a movie. It looks like a movie. All right. Anyway, switching gears. So the Ukrainian had finally had a successful bombing run. Good for them. Again, I think a lot of this is theater. I don't think, because this back and forth doesn't make sense. And I haven't heard Russia's response to this. And again, not that I've been looking for it either. So, again, big deal. Oh. Now, somebody told me about this yesterday. Again, this is an accident. The cause of death revealed for 3 sisters who vanished while visiting homeless dad found in the campground. I forgot who told me this story. 3 young sisters allegedly offed by their homeless father in Washington likely passed away from asphyxiation. The Decker sisters, Peyton 9, Evelyn 8, and Olivia 5, cause of death were revealed in a preliminary report by the Chelan County Superior Court. According, the girls' bodies were found around 5 p.m. Monday, this past Monday, close to their father's white 2017 GMC Sierra truck near the Rockland Island campground in Wenatchee. I don't know how to pronounce that. 3 hours east of Seattle. Amber Alert went out on Monday, but was canceled late Monday before police could confirm the girls' death Tuesday morning. Decker, 32, picked up the girls from their home on Friday. Their mother, Whitney Decker, said calls to his phones went straight to voicemail after he was scheduled to return them. She immediately contacted the Wenatchee Police Department. His truck was last seen that weekend in the west end of Leavenworth, triggering a police search in the wooded area. Hours before the bodies were found, a warrant was issued for Decker's arrest on 3 counts of first-degree custodial interference before the murder and kidnapping charges were added. Cute kids. Decker, a military veteran with extensive training, is homeless and had been divorced from his children's mother for several years. He is known to stay at the campground and hotels in the local area. I don't know why he would have your kids go to a homeless man's encampment. I mean, I guess he's been doing it for a while. But again, this is the scary problem with the psych issues. Clearly, this guy probably had psych issues, but because, I hate to say it, if he's a veteran living homelessly, there's always some kind of psych issue associated with that. Almost always. Not all the time, but almost always. And that's a red flag for me. But this guy, again, probably did this for a couple of years, and the mother thought nothing of it. And today, or Monday, he picked that day to do what he did. And that sucks. Let's see. He is known to campground. Decker's cell phone activity revealed he drove to and left the campground a day before kidnapping his daughters. The alleged killer's truck was found with 2 bloody handprints, blankets, food, car seats, and a wallet So he probably disappeared in the woods. If he disappeared into the woods of Washington State, they're probably never going to find him, or it's going to be weeks before they do. But I can almost guarantee he offed himself. Campsite near the truck showed sign that he recently used when the police found it was sorry. After the grim finding of the girls' bodies, SWAT teams and federal agents, including Homeland Security and U.S. Forest Service, descended on the area and began to search for Deckard. Homeland Security. That has to mean this guy was Special Forces. That I can almost guarantee as well. They said he had extensive training in the beginning of the article, and now Homeland Security is also involved in looking for him. Homeland Security doesn't usually get involved in this shit unless this guy's a Special Forces member. And a highly decorated and trained Special Forces member. And there are probably other Special Forces guys looking for him as well. They don't mention that. He's described as 5'8", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. As last seen wearing a light-colored shirt and dark shorts. He undoubtedly took that shit off. Although it is unknown whether Deckard is currently armed, he may possess a significant threat if approached. Again, look at the terminology. He may pose a significant threat, even being unarmed. Steel City, exactly, Rambo situation, except for not John Rambo, the nice guy. This is not a good dude. Anyone who believes to have seen Deckard since Friday or know his current whereabouts is urged to call 911. Public is advised not to attempt to contact or approach Deckard. And this guy looks very Special Forces-ish. You get what I mean? So, yeah. This guy's definitely fucking, especially that they keep warning you in this article how serious he is and not to approach him. You're not supposed to approach a lot of people in this situation, but they're giving clear multiple warnings. Anyway, the girl's mother issued the distress appeal for the daughter's safety return just hours before their bodies were found. I just want my girls back home. Well, that's not gonna happen. I am concerned about the safety and well-being of my girls and their dad. This is an unimaginable situation. I am pleading for anyone to look out for them. This is absolutely going to be heartbreaking. All three of her kids are gone. Whitney, who had sole custody of the children, had put together a parenting plan with her ex-husband after years of being divorced. Deckard was granted time to see the kids during a specific hour every other weekend in the Valley area. However, he was allegedly quieter than usual when he picked up his daughters on Friday. No shit. Sometimes that is seen as an out of character for how he usually acts, according to the court documents. The suspected murderer had also allegedly discussed the possibility of giving up his dog due to his housing and financial struggles. Whitney claimed that Deckard was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. She suspected her ex-husband had not been taking his medication for his condition, even though under the agreement that they had for him to see his children, he was supposed to seek mental health treatments and anger management counseling. Red flag number fucking 2, and that's actually the more important one. If your ex, woman or guy, has to take psych medication and has to be given special hours to see a kid, the kids are never to be left alone with a psych patient. This is Washington State, the liberal state of Washington. Why on God's green earth would you allow unsupervised visits with a psych patient that is borderline personality disorder? Personality disorder is possibly one of the worst. You don't know what you're going to get from a person like this. And it sucks because this lady will never see her kids again. And they're not even, giving a rundown of how it happened either. She doesn't need to know that bullshit. Tristan, I would probably say the arm ticket as well. Though with military vets, the mental health issue is extremely high to begin with. But that's not. I would have never in a million years allowed my daughter to see my wife who had mental issues by herself. Never. That was never going to happen. And then, obviously the courts will fight and be like, well, we got to give them a chance. Now they're dead. Granted, the mother, the mother came up with a plan to also help the daughters see their father. This is what you get. Psych patients should never, ever be allowed to see their kids alone. Ever. That is not to say that he would not have did this if the mother wasn't there. Or supervising officer, whatever it was there. It's not to say that, but it's less likely to happen. You got to draw the likeliness down as far as you can when you have people who are this unhinged. But that story sucks ass. Well, anyway, so last article I'm going to go over is assault on NYPD surges 63% over the last 6 years. You can blame the whole George Floyd situation for this, but whatever. Experts warn the troubling trend will not end. Assault on NYPD officers have surged a shocking 63% over the past 6 years. Police officers and experts warn this week that the trend will continue because of criminal-friendly justice system that fails to deliver any consequences. There has been 970 assaults on uniformed police officers in the city so far this year, up from 595 officers attacked the same point pre-pandemic 2019. The number of assaulted police officers, which includes all city law enforcement officers. Does that include traffic cops? Because if that includes traffic cops have it coming to them. I'm sorry. I don't like them either. So the fact that they put that in there, all city law enforcement officers, is up 57%. So far this year, compared to the same span 3 years ago, climbed 4% compared to the same time last year, data shows. So stats emerge amid a spat of recent attacks on cops. A maniac, chopped off the tip of a sergeant's finger and went on a sucker slapping spree. And slapped a 9-year-old girl May 10th, just a month ago. Felix Enrique, 31, walked up to a youngster as she was playing in the Glendale Street, asked her name, then smacked the shit out of her without any warning. And then the same incident, he bit a sergeant, the tip of a sergeant's finger off. I remember that elusively. Times Square officer who was punched in the jaw at 2:40 a.m. on a Tuesday while trying to lead the man to safety out of traffic. This is another incident. After an Aaron Demis, 21, a Californian, allegedly attacked the officer, he also slapped a 19-year-old woman in the face and drove his elbow into the back of a 35-year-old woman's head, according to criminal records. This is another incident, and this is another incident in NYPD housing. NYPD housing officer, some Indian dude, 27, was brutally beaten and robbed by two goons while headed home from work last Saturday in the Bronx, leaving him semi-unconscious and with a severe facial injury, including a broken eye socket, or orbital socket, Nafif, that's the Indian dude, younger brother, Chao Chingping, I can't pronounce these names, and I can't even see, Navid, said his brother was telling the masked men to just take his belongings during the May 24th attack because he wanted to get through the ordeal. I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, cops have, over the years, have been robbed. Cops have been robbed of their guns. But I've never seen cops, this new breed of cops, give up their weapon willfully. There was a cop about a year ago, I think it was in Queens, he got robbed, and the perp went for his gun, and he let the perp take his gun. I remember growing up back in the days, at least with my parents, if you're a cop, you fight tooth and nail for that gun because you don't know where that gun's going to be used. and you do not want to be held accountable for that gun being used. And he used to fucking go all out. Now people are giving up their weapons, and like this cop, again, he's Indian, so, he doesn't have a fighting bone in his body, so I don't know why he wants to be a cop, but, yeah, these fucking new generation of pussies are just that, pussies. They give up their weapon willfully. Anyway, he was on his way home and was suddenly these two perpetrators, out of nowhere, one with a knife, the other with a gun, then disarmed him and robbed him. My brother initially didn't want to reveal his identity, said, adding that Nafif told the robbers to take his wallet and money. They saw the uniform and they were like, oh shit, this is a fucking cop, and then they went off on him. But that didn't stop them. It made the beatdown even worse. After that, they assaulted him because he was a cop. There was no other reason. He was cooperating so that he could get away without being harmed. Their anger towards the police department and the criminal justice system was deep enough that they continued to hurt my brother. The rookie officer who joined the NYPD in the summer, who's probably going to hand his resignation as we speak, had a knife placed to his throat and was robbed of his gun, shield, and his phone. One of the other goons even kicked Nafir in the face before fleeing. The officer underwent successful surgery on his eye at Jacoby Hospital and was sent home Wednesday. I don't want this to happen to anybody. I just want my brother not just because he's my brother, but because he's a police officer. Excuse me. I don't want anyone else to face anything like this. Robin Garland, a retired NYPD officer, founder of FundTheFirst.com, which has hosted fundraisers for Nafif, said the men should face the extended prison sentence for assault on a police officer. Well, at this extent, too. They should definitely be throwing a book at them. The problem is they're not. I have heard a while ago that they were using the anger of the neighborhood. It was some bullshit excuse they were using for why people are beating up cops and have a dislike for cops. And they go into past shit that's never happened to any of these kids. So this is their justification for beating cops. Anyway. Let's see, where did they leave off? Okay, if they're not brought to proper justice, others will know, said Garland, adding that they'll think, I'm going to get out of jail, I'm going to get out of there, and I'm going to beat up a cop. I'm only going to do a few years. You used to do some serious time when you beat up a cop. You used to do like 10 years or some shit. Now you're doing like a couple of months. One of the alleged culprits, Tyvon Hargrove, 23, was arrested Tuesday in Virginia, where the investigators believe he had fled to his family's friend's home. Fellow suspect, 23-year-old Wayne Lucas, was also nabbed in Virginia, wearing a long wig as a disguise. Okay. The revolving door criminal justice system in the city is leading to the increase in assaults, said retired NYPD sergeant and adjunct professor at Penn State University, Lang Valley, Joseph Gallicoloni, some Italian cop. You have DAs like Alan Braggs who don't even want to prosecute who don't even want to prosecute felony assault against cops. So where's the deterrence? You have a criminal justice system that's revolving door and people are getting arrested 40, 50, 60 times. The cops are dealing with people out on the streets who are really bad. Because they are given a carte blanche ticket to do what they want, this is why they're running into the problem they're running into. So anyway, the stats goes, the number of assaults on cops each year has increased 63% from 2019 till about now. So in 2025, they are up 970 assaults compared to 2024, where it was 929. 2023 was 845. 2022 was 617 assaults. Now, 2022 to 2023, that was a huge jump. That was that was over 200 assaults from 2022 to 2023. The lowest year was 2020 of 459. 2021 was 485. 2019 was 595. So 2019 was 2095, dropped dramatically because of COVID. In 2020, it dropped to 459, and then it shot up every year after that. And now it is at its highest. So, again, cops have to definitely be Johnny on the spot, head on the swivel. You cannot be walking in the streets like nothing's going to happen to you. Now, the cop that was robbed, he was robbed because he was Indian. And they were like, oh, man, look at this Indian dude. Let's get him, because he's weak. And they started beating his balls off, and then they found out he was a cop, and they went in on him because of that. So the added insult was he was almost getting through the situation. They saw his uniform. They went ballistic. Now, this story I spoke about in my video that I might be releasing later today. Panicked teen plunges to her death after unbuckling harness while parasailing. Now, keep in mind, guys, there's a video of this. She didn't just unbuckle her harness. She unbuckled every safety gear that she had on when you watch this video. Now, they're downplaying it as a panic attack. I doubt it very much. A panicked 19-year-old woman plunged to her death after she frantically unbuckled her harness while parasailing in Montenegro, in a disturbing caught-on-camera tragedy. Tatiana Rodonic, who was vacationing from Serbia at the time, died after falling 160 feet into the Somebody Sea last Wednesday. Chilling footage published on local media showed the distressed young woman tearing at her life jacket and scrambling to unclip her safety harness restraint just seconds before the mid-air horror unfolded. She managed to break free from her waist belt. The clip showed the bikini-clad, she was also a TikTok influencer, trying to wiggle free before she tumbled upside down and suddenly vanished from view. Now again, panicky or not, there are hand signals they show you, and on camera she can give the signal that she wants to get down, and they will lower her down. She didn't give any indications that she wanted to come down. She just started unbuckling herself. And as you're unbuckling, again, her face did not match someone who was panicking. It just didn't. She managed to local reports suggest that she may have suffered a panic attack. Panic attack. Again, in the video, there was no panickiness in her face, and she wasn't like frantically moving around either. She was sort of like, it was weird. It was almost as if it was a suicide. Almost. Witnesses claimed they heard the frenzied teen screaming, "Put me down," in the moment before she fell. The young woman's lifeless body was pulled from the water. Rodonic went up in the air after a rep for the parasailing company approached her on the beach and offered a free flight. We're all in shock of this accident. It's not an accident that happened. She did not show any fear of flying. She underwent training, which the tragedy followed. So again, here's the other thing too. Before they, a lot of the parasailing companies, not all of them, a lot of the parasailing companies, we did this in Tahiti, I think it was. I think it was Tahiti. No, not Tahiti, the other place. I can't think of it right now, but it's right off the coast of, it's right near the Bahamas. But we went and we did the parasailing up there, and they put you at a respectable level, like 50, 60 feet, and they leave you up there. And then they give you like a thumbs up if you want to go higher, and then you go like this, and then they boom, and then they just let it rip. And then you go to your highest point. And everything like this looks, that's all. And don't get me wrong, parasailing is fun, but when you hit turbulence in a fucking parasailing in a parachute, I'm like, yo, You're just like, all of a sudden, and the only thing holding you up is a parachute. So when you hit the turbulence, you're like, yeah, let me get the fuck out of this thing, you know? But, and then everything is so tiny at that height, 160 feet. You're just looking down, you're like, oh man, you know? So that's about like, 160 feet is, if I'm not mistaken, probably 60 stories, just about. Right now, not 60 stories. For every floor, it's 10 feet. So every floor is 10 feet, 50, 60. So 160 feet. There were shoots. Yeah, it was about 60 stories up. Yeah, I'm used to heights. I'm not used to 160 feet of being in a parasail. Like that's that's high. But again, she showed no signs, and in the video, she said she was screaming, "Let me down!" But 160 feet, you cannot hear "Let me down." You cannot hear anybody yelling at that height. Trust me. We could barely hear anybody at a 16-story window fucking screaming. Actually, it's not 60 stories. It's 16 stories. Excuse me, the math was all wrong. So 160 feet is roughly 16 stories. All right? You're not hearing anybody screaming shit at 16 stories. And not when a boat is also moving, the boat's motor's going, you got other boats in the area, you're not hearing. So for them to say they heard her yelling, "Let me down." Now, in the video, it didn't look like she was mouthing that at all, but I don't know. She was doing this the whole video, but she wasn't panicky. It was a weird video to watch. You can find it on X or Instagram. But other than that, I have to get out of here now. That story sucks. It was a 19-year-old who looked like she didn't have a problem with it. Maria Jackson, thank you for the good morning on Rumble, by the way. I got to get out of here. I got to go to work. So I got to pack my shit up and fucking skedaddle. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me this morning. I appreciate it as always. I will see you guys tomorrow for the doubleheader. Other than that, have a good day.